Yeah, crime, Miami-Dade sounds, news, business, the county, your entire city, politics, arts, and community.
We're back in the office. Well, no, this is part 2 now, but this is the good part now. Because we were going to do a live, but you chickened out. No, you didn't.
I was intimidated.
You were?
No. I really thought I was at a different time.
So we were going to do a live. One of the reasons was to do a live is because she does the same thing as us, but she does it more for the Democrats, right? And
Everyone but I'm a Democrat.
Right. And then I do it more for the Republicans. I'm independent, but I do go more for the Republicans. But we do have one thing in common that first, before I say that part, I wanted to thank you in my podcast because you were the one that adopted Hassan.
Yeah.
When I fell in love with that dog and I couldn't take him home, I started posting him every single day. And she was one of the first ones that answered me. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I will go get him the next day. I told her we will pledge. We will send you a little bit of money to help you with the dog food at least for a while. And she came through and she sent me pictures. And to this day, she still sends me a picture of Hudson. So I'm like the stepmom.
I was going to bring him, but,
So I wanted to say thank you for adopting him and giving him a second chance because he was in the shelter since February. And no one knew about that until I started posting about it. So that I would always be grateful for. So then we have a comment that we are very active in our community. We have people hate us and love us because I've gotten screamed that I'm a communist because we have a thing in common that we say the truth in
even against our own people sometimes.
Correct.
And I get called a Republican operative, and you get called a communist.
So, how did you start doing your activism?
I studied political science in college, and I started working with a Republican consultant when I was in graduate school. Oh. And so I started doing housing studies and things like that for the county through the university. But he was very involved in the Republican Party. So I just fell in love with running campaigns and doing research, and that's essentially what I wanted to do. So I was trained by the Republican Party. Oh. Like the David Rivera's, Marco Rubio's, as the party was really starting to take hold of Miami-Dade County, and then I got a really intense course on what it's like to run local campaigns. And so imagine being a Democrat, being young, a woman in a Republican world, and so you learn to really balance those two things.
Right.
And I wouldn't have it any other way. People criticize me in the Democratic Party. I try to stay away from that, but they criticize me for having, been trained or even accepted. But it's been an amazing experience. And honestly, if the Democratic Party worked a little bit more like the Republican Party, maybe we wouldn't be in the position that we're in today.
Do you think the Democrats are going to come back out of this, or?
I think they're
say the truth.
I think they're going to try. I think it's going to take a really long time. I don't think that. When we talk about the establishment and loyalty, so that's something the Democratic Party doesn't have right now. So there's one thing that keeps the Republican Party together is that no matter what, you have unity, right? So there's a but it's stronger than what we have. So what we have is there's supposed to be a core. That core is very empty, and then there's all these different factions, and everybody works separately from each other, never for a common goal. And we don't even know what the common goal is anymore, right? So whereas people like me and the folks that I work with are a little bit more middle of the road, the party as it stands today will not accept that. So they derail you from doing the work that you do, even if it's good work, right? So do I think that the party is going to come back? I think they're trying, but I don't think that they're willing to do what is necessary. And that means starting to put their own personal, can I curse? Okay. Their own personal self-interest aside.
Okay.
And start really focusing on people and where people are, because they stopped talking to people a long time ago. And they start listening to people a long time ago. They only listen to each other and they listen to their consultants. That's it. And those consultants who have no idea what they're doing. At least you guys have people who are equipped and skilled. We don't even have that.
What I've noticed with the Republicans is, example, Miami Republicans, to me, they support the wrong Republicans. Like the MAGA supports each other and they're there with each other, but Miami Republican and Miami Young Republicans, to me, my opinion, as an outsider, they don't support the right Republicans. When there's a good Republican doing so much work, I don't see endorsement. I don't see support at all. I feel like they left him alone. And then the one that abandoned his community in the trailer park, they're supporting him. They're like, oh, you're doing such a great job. I'm like, and how? You know, yes, it's a private land, but there's 900 people that were left there with no homes.
Yeah.
Why wasn't there no support? Why did no one knock on the door and say, hey, are you okay? Did you find a home? You didn't? Look, I have a realtor that I can give you his card. Let me know if you need it. Nothing. They let those people alone. But Miami Republican endorsed them. And they won by elections by mail-in ballots. So those are little things that bother me. So with the Democrat Party, I have noticed, again, from the outsiders, I'm not like you that you know more than me. Maybe I'm wrong. But I have noticed the Democrats are caring more about themselves than the community. Let me, an example, Levin Cava. I want to be mayor, but I'm going to accept all these dollars to come, give me my money, and I don't care the redlands, we kill all these rabbits. I don't care what's happening. You know, I'm looking the other side. Yeah. But she's banking, you know?
Yeah, of course she is. And it's convenient. And see, that's why. So, you know, for those who are going to call me a Republican operative, I'm not. I'm just, here's the thing. You have, like, why is the mayor and Raquel Regalado, why are they working together? Their legacy, the legacy that they have left behind is just so destructive for Miami-Dade County. Also, what do
you mean when they're working together? Like, because Raquel's Republican.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. I mean, when you cut deals, when you're in politics and you want to keep your seat, there's two kinds of people. There's public servants, right? People who really do what they do to help people, and then there's people who want to help themselves. I know Daniela personally. She was not like that before. So it's really sad to see how far we've come, where you're willing to, we talk about consultants. Her marketing consultants were the same ones Raquel Regalado was using last cycle. Oh. Meanwhile, they're the same consultants that the Democratic Party uses, who was supporting another candidate, which was Raquel's opponent. So what people see on the TV and what people see on the outside is nothing compared to what's happening internally. And so people don't win fair elections anymore.
Correct. Nowadays, they win bad.
Right. Nobody wins fair elections. It's very hard. And so just like you said, that the party doesn't support the people doing the work, we have the same issue. But so we have to make a choice. Do we continue to do the work, or do we give in and just to have a position? What do you want a position for? To keep it? While the world around you, there's viejitos in Little Abner. There's an empty structure that is senior housing that is empty and already built. Is there anybody that thought, let me go over there and say, oye, señor, usted, vamos a darle 9 meses para que encuentre algo. These people are on fixed income for the last 30 years. It doesn't matter whether they own the property or not. You don't do that to people. Where, en qué cabeza cabe that your position, that I put you there because I am a voter, is more important?
Correct. That's the point I have. Yes, they gave him 6 months. They gave him $14,000 if they left, I think, before January. It's the principle how they did it. Exactly. They gave him a letter in November, Thanksgiving. So they already messed up their Thanksgiving. They already messed up their Christmas because those people have a fixed income. So the extra income they had to buy their kids toys for Christmas, Now it's gone. And we're like, we have to buy you now. Instead of I was gonna buy you 4 toys, now I'm gonna buy you 1 because now we have to save money to buy to leave the house. The way it was all done is what bothers me the most. You know, the people were asking for help. No one went. If it wasn't for community activists that brought a bus for them to medical bus for free, brought organizations to trap the cats because there was all cats loose there. Some people came and did like volunteering, like a guard watch, because after 7 o'clock at night there were squatters there. There were squatters there. They were burning the trailers, and there was no protection for those people. So that's why I'm mad at the Miami Republicans supporting those commissioners, and they won by a lot, by 300 mail-in ballot. They won the first time by 200, and now they won by 600. How? If there's 900 families upset and they were all voting for someone else, how did they win?
Then at what point do people like you and me, right? Because we agree on a lot of things. We may disagree on some, but we probably agree on more than we disagree on, right? At what point do people say, oh yeah, let's put the partisan stuff aside, the Republican, Democrat, because both are as corrupt. There's a crime syndicate and everybody works together to screw over the people. So at what point do you say, okay, let's find a good candidate regardless of what they are and let's support them together? Like there has to be a point where the community comes together and says, yeah, basta, yeah. Because it has been years. I showed you this stuff on the recall. There was a time in 2011 after the Marlins Stadium that we're still paying for, that we recalled the mayor and commissioner of Hialeah. She had been in office longer than I had been alive at the time.
Do you agree with that, with the commissioners being such a long time in office?
No. Term limits y pa' fuera. Term limits and pa' fuera. And you know what? They should get paid a decent salary, because maybe if they got paid a decent salary, they wouldn't be stealing from us all the time. So those are and that's something the Republicans have always pushed, but nobody wants to vote on it, right? So at what point do we say enough is enough? Let's start to really educate ourselves on what's happening. Most people don't even know what went down in Sweetwater. No. Look at the Redlands. These are people with multi-million-dollar homes. Why are they doing that in the Redlands, but they're not doing it in the Gables?
Correct.
What's happening?
Correct. Do you feel do you agree with a commissioner becoming a senator and then a senator becoming commissioner and then he wants to run for a mayor?
Look, no. I think, like I said, there's public servants and then there's interest, personal interest, right? You want to keep a position of power? Then say it. Pero no, because then you lose sight of why you were there. Then all you're doing is running for office. You're never serving. Right.
I agree.
And I'm sorry, but you cannot tell me that you can serve as a county commissioner, pero también you can be a great county commissioner and do a really terrible job at the state. We stopped talking about policy and legislating a long time ago.
Yes.
Nobody knows what the hell they're doing, what this bill says, what that bill says. Nobody cares about that. They care about how do I vote so that I don't get voted out of office and so that I continue to get los chequecitos de los donors, I don't piss anybody off and I don't piss the party off. That is what it comes down to. Not what does this mean? What does that mean? What is the definition? That you can't be jumping around like that. You should, if you're going to invest in the community that you really care about and something you really care about. That's a true public servant. And if doing the right thing means you lose your seat because somebody bought you out or you weren't willing to sell out, then be that person.
Right.
And until you have martyr candidates like that, that are able to put the community first, because people are watching, people will notice.
Yeah. Yeah. People are more awake now. Yeah. Maybe people are more active now. People know what's going on. Yeah. So, do you think Levine Cava is going to run for governor?
She's going to run for something. I think, based on what I'm seeing today, and that people like David Jolly, but they're not super enthusiastic about him, I think she will run. Those are the rumors that she will run. It's either that or she's going to run for District 27 against Maria Elvira's seat. The problem is that then again, so keep jumping to find another seat, which is really disappointing in her because one, the rest of the state doesn't know you. Your consultant is going to run you for a statewide seat para sacarte dinero. Okay?
That this consultant is supposedly behind Blue Nest Corporation.
Yes. Yes. So, yeah. So, yeah. So, look, you use these poor people because Daniela's not a bad person. She's just misguided, right?
That's what I feel too.
And the problem is that she has to be able to stand up against this. I don't care how badly you want something.
Right.
It is not worth jeopardizing your compromising your integrity. You know how many candidates that have worked with Christian over her consultant, her campaign manager, have said, "I never want to work with him again," and the next day they're working with him again because everybody's scared of him. He has influence. He buys people off, and he's the only one that can make you win. And honestly, if you don't pick him, he will find a way to destroy your life. Whether you're a candidate, whether you're a consultant, and he will do it to any Democrat. This is not Republican.
Pero Christy Fra, the mayor of Doral, they're friends.
Yeah.
But she's a Republican.
Yeah, no, they're friends. Like I said, his marketing firm was doing mailers for Raquel Regalado and Daniela Levincama while they're managing Democratic Party offices. Okay, like there comes a point where there is zero integrity. That those offices that he was managing, his office manager has been paid. And you'll have the screenshots so that you can put them up. Has been paid, and using his own family, the poor guy, because they need money. These people, these commissioners, the mayor, know who this person is. They work for Edge Communications and get paid by Edge and Christian. They have been speaking on behalf of Blue Nest, getting paid to speak, to support the development, to commissioners who are saying, "I don't know who they are, they can't possibly be paid," when they're literally working and paying these people to work on their campaign.
Oh.
But
you know this for sure? Like, you know what you're saying? Like, you
yeah,
you have evidence?
So one of the things that we've done over the last couple of weeks, I had no idea that, and I came in to help them with the Redlands, try to figure out how I could help some way, because I'm una metiche. And then I start looking at the speaker cards, and I'm like, "Oye, I know this name." Turns out there's the same people over and over and over again at each of the hearings, and not just for this development, but other Blue Nest developments, okay? They go and they speak, him, the wife, the cousin, everybody in favor of Blue Nest. There's text messages about getting paid the $250 when you're done, okay? They're the same people who worked for Christian during campaign season, who managed the campaign offices for Daniela, for Cohen Higgins, I was there. And so
Daniela Cohen Higgins works with him too?
Yes, that's her campaign manager.
I actually like her.
So
she's like the only Democrat that I'm like.
The thing is that she at least stands up. So it's like, this is my personal ask. If you have any dignity left and you want to run for mayor of Dade County, which I know that you do the right thing. Say no to this project. You know that people are getting paid, and you can't say you don't because you work with these people on your campaign. So do the right thing and stop lying to people like poor Jose, who buy okay? They buy it when, no, they can't possibly be paid, or I don't know who those people are, or no, yes, you do know who those people are because they canvass for you. So I want to know why that is being allowed. Why? Because if that's not lobbying, and Christian's not a registered lobbyist, right? Mm-hmm. If that's not lobbying and that's not taking advantage of the system, then I don't know what is. Meanwhile, Blue Nest is donating thousands of dollars to the PACs that help several commissioners, because it's not just Daniela and it's not just Danielle Cohen Higgins. It's every single commissioner who Christian manages, which is almost everybody on the dais. Okay?
Not mine.
Not yours. Not yours. But that's not fair. It's not fair. Why does a developer have more power than a taxpayer. When did that happen?
When Levine Cava put her guard down.
You know?
Levine Cava wins this campaign because she promised all these developers, okay, you help me win. We'll buy off Manici, Otaola. We'll leave them there on the side. To help me win, and when you get money, you have to return it. So how are you gonna return it? The way I'm gonna let you build whatever you guys want. You want to build this? I'm gonna approve it.
No, it's the developer influence.
That's where
That's
where I talk about the Miami Republicans, because not for nothing, I know a lot of people were talking bad about Otaola, that he doesn't know English, whatever, but he was right the whole time.
Yeah.
He was right the whole time. In his whole campaign, he said that she's gonna win because all these developers are gonna knock on her door. They're gonna give her money for her campaign, but she's gonna return it back by approving all this, and it's happening right now.
Look at the Everglades. There was an article. The thing is that, and that's something that people need to start doing, is really doing their own research.
Correct.
Because she approved and helped pass a development project for 680 units. Passing in the UDB line, passing in the Everglades. So and this is where, I keep coming back, she's not a bad person, but she's made so many bad decisions and she is sold out for power. And it's, you encroached on the Everglades. And now when we're talking about what's happening in the Miami-Dade Collier Airport, how can she even have anything to say about that when she herself sold out, right?
And sold out the shelter.
The
shelter. Supposedly she gave $48 million to a shelter. Where's that money going to? Because that shelter does not look like it's spent $48 million. So there's a lot of stuff going. My question to you, now in 3 years we're gonna be running again. It's gonna be a campaign for mayor for Miami-Dade. Who do you think, or who do you have hope can fix Miami-Dade?
My gosh. I think, look, I know who's going to run. We know Regalado's going to run. We know Daniel Cohen-Higgins is going to run. But in order it cannot be anybody that's on the dais that can fix Miami-Dade. And to be honest, I'd say it has to be an OG politician. If you want to have somebody back from years ago, people like J.C. Zapata, who understand what is happening at the county level, who understand policy. Somebody like that should run for mayor. I'm okay with that. Took years off. He served in his capacity and he did it well. He's been involved. People like that, and he'll probably kill me, I don't know, for even mentioning his name, but you asked me, and yes, it has to be somebody who's not connected to this consultant cartel, or that is so divided and so entrenched in what is happening right now. Everybody's like, que maga aquí, los comunistas pa allá. None of that is going to solve the problem at hand. We are in a deficit right now because people don't know how to keep money in their pants. Right? Mm-hmm. So we need somebody who understands policy.
Right.
And we need somebody who knows how to balance a budget, who isn't going to sell out, who when they have to will call out their own party, their own colleagues. That's what we need.
Correct. That's what we need. Someone like that.
Because it's fácil to call out somebody on the other side. But if you can't call out your own, then you are no better.
I have a question. Don't get mad.
Yeah.
Francis Suarez.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he's gonna run for Miami-Dade?
You know what? I think that's the only position he has left that he could run for.
Do you think he was a good mayor? Is a good mayor?
He's made mistakes.
A lot.
He's made mistakes. Francis is a good person too. He also understands policy. So did his dad. I mean, and it's hard because they're somewhat corrupt, right? But I can tell you that at least they're upfront about what they're doing, and at least they take phone calls. I know that I've always, whenever I pick up the phone, I say, hey, listen, I have a homeless family. No questions asked. Okay, go here, Camilla's house, go here, here's some food. It doesn't matter what it is. There's something to be said about that. Do they have a heart of a public servant? Yes. That's also clouded by money. And that's where I take issue with Francis. You no reason to make bad decisions, right? But you still do because power gets to you. That's a problem with Francis. Didn't really happen with his dad so much, but, Francis se dejó llevar por eso. But...
Who's your favorite politician person? Like your favorite?
I mean...
Ten cuidado. I have my phone next to me.
At one point, Katie Sorensen was one of my favorites. She was amazing. And she was smart. And I think to this day, Cindy Lerner is one of my favorites, the Pinecrest mayor.
Okay.
She ran against Raquel, and it was really, really sad to see that go
And
down.
she had a lot of good points.
Yeah, people like that, they get it. When you understand policy, it's not about party anymore.
And she tried to save the Coconut Grove Playhouse.
She did. Can you imagine that being your legacy after everything, that you let the Coconut Grove Playhouse be demolished?
I know.
Like, how is that your legacy?
Or being an evil Catwoman lady, Raquel.
Like, how does that happen? But people like that, back then, back in the day, J.C. Zapata, people who sat at the dais and spoke, and they talked about the issues. We didn't always agree on policy, but, bueno.
So who's your least, like the one you can't see in person? I think I know.
What do you think it is? Actually, no.
Really? Because you post about it.
I post because I think he's a terrible congressman. I think he should come back to Miami-Dade and come, fix some stuff. He's good locally. He's just bad at Congress.
Yeah.
And he's not a federal... This is why you shouldn't jump around from seat to seat. Some people are really good at some things. Some people are not. Right?
Maria Salazar, what do you think about her?
I think she's smart. I think she's fighting back now. She's doing some damage control. Always liked her, and it's going to take a really strong person to fight back. If she could actually be the saving grace of the Republican Party, because she's starting to distance herself from some of the more extreme policies, and she's starting to say, and I'm hoping that whatever I'm saying is not coming off as I support her. I am trying to give her the benefit of the doubt that she is trying to do the right thing for people. She is saying people are being affected, that people are losing their jobs, that immigrants,
right,
that undocumented people that shouldn't be deported are being deported. That is a conversation Republicans need to have. And that is something, I challenge Mario Diaz-Balart, Salazar, and Jimenez to get together and save your freaking party.
Right.
Save your party. You are Cuban. You are Hispanic. There's a way to secure the border, but also show people that you still care about them.
Right.
Or that you're willing to do your job. Right? They could actually help bring the party back and reel it in. Right?
Okay. I see that. Okay.
And especially because of their background.
What do you think about Marco Rubio?
I think Marco is super arrepentido now. I think Marco, you see it in his face. I don't think he's happy. And I think he's now so beholden to his position and Trump that he can't fight back even if he wanted to. I don't know if he would, because Marco's much more conservative than people think. Or assume, But Marco was a great legislator. He was a great speaker. And I don't know where maybe I've been seeing him a little bit. But he forgot where he came from, man. Like, look, and it's not just on immigration. It's almost like it's the arrogance, right? It's the arrogance that you seem to think that you are better than anyone. And that now that you're set, nobody else has an opportunity. Those conversations need to be had. You don't have that right. Right.
I feel, again, I don't know much like you do, but me from the outsider, I feel like they're doing not a great job, but they're not doing a bad job. Marco Rubio needs to speak up. Like, he needs to, I don't want to say the bad word,
Mm-hmm.
but ever since he debated Trump and he choked on his water,
Yeah.
that's the image
Yes.
I always had from
Yeah.
him. I'm like, you need to grow some.
Yeah. And people, like, the thing is that people they love Marco, right?
A lot of people do.
So take advantage of the fact that you are polling higher than the president right now and be there for your people, because it isn't right that un cubano that came here on TPS, so they didn't come, so we want to talk about legal versus illegal, okay? They came here legally under TPS, and then all of a sudden it's illegal. You can disagree with the Biden policy all you want, but the fact of the matter is that they didn't break the law, and now they're breaking the law because
we just talked about that this weekend. Communists from Cuba came.
Right.
Alejandro.
Like, how is that allowed?
They came in and he went straight to Hialeah, and his friend is working in a barbershop already. So that bothers me. How did this communist come in freely, and then someone who's been here for 20 years that doesn't have his papers, ICE is coming after them?
Right.
So those are things that we need to think about, and we need to fix those things.
There has to look. The Republican Party, and I don't know why. I mean, the Democrats love to write letters, right?
Oh, yeah,
but I don't see any letters that the Democrats write or any demands I don't think the Democrats will do it, but the Republicans have an opportunity to keep pushing and say case by case. Okay, forget the border right now, forget all of that. But the last thing you want to see is a child, they're going into foster homes to try to look for the parents of undocumented kids. That's not okay.
Right.
Because
it's too extreme.
Right.
It's too extreme.
So, but stand up and say case by case. I think you say case by case, that is understandable, especially for people on TPS. Venezuelans, if you go back to Venezuela, and I have family there, so I can speak to that, and I don't know how it is in Cuba, right? If you were to go back now. But in Venezuela, if you were in las protestas and you were in the street and you got taken back, you're probably gonna die. So,
the thing is that what is happening now with immigration, it had to happen. Like I was telling you earlier, I worked in a hospital for 10 years, and I would never understand how a VA has an ulcer in his foot, getting denied for medication, MRI to see if it didn't go to his bloodstream, if there's no infection, and then someone that came from Cuba, because she was from Cuba, has Medicaid and it covers everything.
Right.
So, and you were born and raised here?
Yeah.
No. So you remember 20 years ago that everybody who came from Cuba started opening up clinics.
Right.
So what's happening with ICE, it had to happen.
It's years in the making.
Because I saw it. I saw me that knows English. I struggled since I had my babies. And it wasn't fair if a 20-year-old came from Cuba and the next thing she had a Medicaid provider, an office, and it was a banking with Medicaid fraud. And when I would ask for help, they would deny me because my ex-husband made money. I'm like, okay, but I'm illegally separated. So so those things that is happening now, it had to happen, but it had to happen a little bit back then. But stuff happened. Also, what I do like about the Republicans, that it's more younger people now. You know, there's a lot of young people coming out. Democrats, unfortunately, on TV, they look crazy and they talk crazy and they're acting crazy. So me, as someone, an outsider, right now, I'm not voting for no Democrat.
Let me ask you the question. So who is, in the party, in the Republican Party, do you feel like they invest time in looking for candidates and helping them run their races, things like that?
As an outsider, I used to see that more. Now I feel that the good Republicans are left behind and the corrupt are getting support. So Miami Republican is now there's a president that supposedly he's not even a Republican. He's a Democrat. He calls Levine Cava Tia, and supposedly his mom is one of the huge supporter of Levine Cava. That to me is wrong. And I feel that when someone is doing, in any party, when someone is doing a great job, you, as a community, as the group, your party, you have to say, wow, you're doing a great part. We're all supporting you. Okay, an example. My district commissioner, I feel he's always by himself. I feel that he doesn't have enough support with the Leo, with the water, I felt everybody left him alone. You know, no one said, you know what, I think you have a good point. I'm going to help you support. I felt from me watching in the board meeting, they left him alone. I feel that is what's happening with the Republican. Everybody has their high pride. DeSantis too. DeSantis wants to get credit for being the best.
That's what I'm telling you. Everybody wants to be the line leader.
But I'm like, you look crazy. You're talking crazy. You're looking crazy, you know. And I feel that's what's missing. The Democrats, at the end, but I'm saying in party, they do look crazy, but they have a little bit of the support of each other. When the Democrats in protest, I feel like everybody's in protest with them. They're a little bit helping each other. But the Miami Republicans, they have to, unfortunately, break that team, break that group, and do a new one and support the right people. Yeah. You know?
Well, I mean, that's kind of where we are too, I think, because we see, I mean, I see you guys the same way you see us. I see you super united, and the only time anybody
sometimes
shows up,
when now with the elections of the mayor, I was volunteering for Otaola because I believed in his points, but I felt that no one backed him up. But he has a successful show, but everybody went to the show.
Right.
And Maria Salazar was there, and I never saw Maria Salazar saying, "Oye, go vote for Otaola. He has a good point," but she will beg him to go to his show because he has 15,000 people in the morning show watching it. So it has to be a balance. You know, I'm going to support you, but también try to support me too. Right. But if I'm doing something wrong, Vanessa, call me and tell me, Mercy, creo que you're being a little bit, you know. And then they all supported Manny C. And at the end, what did Manny C do? He betrayed him.
Which I don't even understand that. Like, I don't even we went from Manny C was like the nemesis, and he hated Daniela, and then the next day you have a position.
I don't even think the word hate. He went to an interview her, attacked her personally and professional, and they paid for his silence because everything he said in that interview is happening now. You know? So that's where
so who's a good Republican and who's a bad Republican?
Bad Republicans, I have a list. Good Republican that I think he doesn't have doesn't have enough credit for me was Pedro Garcia. He was a property appraiser. That man,
he was good,
is. I know his family. I know him. I've seen him. The most kindest, good heart person that I haven't seen in a long time in the Republican, and I feel he should have given it more support. I know his family would have never accepted him to be a mayor, but if he was going to become a mayor, he would have been the best mayor we would have.
That's how I feel about Harvey Rubin, who passed away. The court. It was amazing, you know? It was amazing. So, but see, that's what we need. The old school guys who are good at what they do and can whip these people into shape. Yeah. You know?
Horrible Republican. I have a list. To me, some people have Hialeah. I have like 2 or 3. Miami-Dade. To me, Kevin Cabrera. That he's the ambassador of Panama. I mean, he's very young, but I think he did a horrible job in the airport. I don't think he did a great job in Panama. He's not doing a great job in Panama because the guy who came directly from Panama, ¿verdad? You know, de Panama. Aunque he wasn't the ambassador, but in the city of Miami, a Republican.
Arroyo's the worst.
Yeah.
See, like, why do you gotta be like that? Why do you have to be so corrupt that corrupt is not even the right word for you? Yeah. You know?
And there's still people supporting him. I don't support him at all. I think he should retire. Enjoy his wife. Vete a, no sé, una isla privada where no one can find you. I feel too that the Republicans, that's another thing. That's where they support him. I don't know why they support him, but I don't support him. And I feel that we should bring new people with new ideas, but for mayor, someone that has experience. Yeah. Commissioners, I feel young, but they can start getting the experience, and then someone older for mayor.
Okay, a good Democrat.
Girl. My favorite one is AOC.
Really?
No, hell no.
I was like, what?
Hell no.
Like, am I on the right podcast?
No. A Democrat, my favorite Democrat, Joe Biden with his ice cream.
No puedo.
No, the one. I
I'm
can't.
like,
No. Favorite in Miami-Dade. I like Daniela Higgins. I like her because and I still have faith in her. I hope she doesn't, but doesn't break my feelings when the red lands, because I've been going to the board meetings almost for a year already, and she's the one who's been always asking questions, very consistent with the questions. When she says no, she says no. I like at the end of the board meeting, she gets her time to sit down, does a video saying I voted no for this, I voted yes. I like that, and she seems very very into the community. Hopefully, I am not wrong.
I have faith, and listen, I feel bad because they've worked so hard, and to tell residents, hey, by the way, there's like all these backroom deals. It's very disappointing, right? To say you're powerless, and they're not powerless. I don't want them to feel that way, but I do have faith in her, and I had this conversation yesterday. It's terrible, but these things need to come out, because then it becomes her decision. What side of history do you want to be on? Do you want to be just like everybody else? And I think you and I both know or feel that she's not like everybody else, right? And I heard her today during the ICE agreement item, and she was asking questions, and she was understanding of. She was the only person who really asked and addressed what people's concerns were.
Right.
And she pushed. And so and I think she has been able to push against her own.
Right.
But right now, the only thing that concerns me is, will her desire for higher office?
That was she was saying.
Yeah.
I hope that. And then I can't tell you anyone else that I like the Democrats. I can't tell you.
So what makes this crazy? Go.
Girl,
because maybe I agree. I don't know.
What makes you guys crazy? As the protestings, I feel, or when you're talking to Trump the way that the Democrats talk, you can have a conversation with someone, say, hey, Trump, I don't like you, or I don't like this, but when you start attacking or looking crazy, that's when I started looking back, and I'm like, oh no. And I feel Democrats don't really care about America. I feel they don't put American first. They prefer to help an immigrant than a single mom that's about to lose, if the one who's about to lose everything, they don't help her enough. That's how I see it. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe in a couple of years, I'm like, oh no, Republicans are cuckoo going to the Democrat Party. But right now, for the Democrats to win this, because I feel like it's a war between good and evil. That's what I feel. I feel that the Democrats first need to clean house, bring young people, and don't act crazy. You can't be going on a stage screaming and saying all these bad things, because at the end of the day, all these political people don't understand that you're like what we admire. So if you are acting crazy on stage, you're telling me that I can act the same way. So then if I start acting,
that's a very Hispanic thing. Like even when you know that maybe that they're not the best person, you respect whoever's in office. Like right now, we had this conversation, but I promise you, the mayor walks in and I'm like, "Hi, good morning."
Yeah, me too.
Because it's a sense of respect.
But if she starts acting crazy, then we all start acting crazy. And if we start acting crazy, then kids act crazy in school. So that's how I see me. That's how they raised me, to always respect the elderly and the ones that have a little bit more power than one. But I feel for the Democrats to come out of this, they need to clean house. The first one to get a salir is AOC. Esa pobrecita, ella necesita ir on psychology, on mental health, something, because you sound crazy, And I'm a modern Christian. In my world, in the church that I was taught, Israel is Holy Land. So when I see Palestinos, people getting approval Palestinos and accepting Iran, to me is awkward. And I wish someone sits down with me and say, no, Mercy, they taught you wrong. This is not, what you're saying is wrong. But I feel like Israel is Holy Land. So how are you disrespecting Holy Land?
So I think people, I think... Like
you can't go to the board meeting with Palestino scars.
A lot of things are lost. Like when the attack happened on October 7th, I put something on Instagram, and probably for the same thing, un lugar sagrado, right? So, and that's part of our upbringing. We can't get rid of that, right? And so I put something out that said I stand with Israel. I'm not a foreign policy expert. I'm not an international relations expert. I'm not a Middle East expert. I don't pretend to be. I just posted something that came from my heart, and never did I expect to be called, that I was a genocidal or this. And I'm like, I literally will go like live under a bridge to help people. You have no idea who I am. How could you attack me? And so I think a lot of that is lost on people that maybe assume things without realizing that maybe it was just, it's just how we were brought up, or what we think, or maybe we don't know, maybe
we were wrong, or maybe the taught us wrong. I wish I could sit with someone, and someone can tell me, look, Palestinos are great, but the way that I was raised, Israel's holy land, it's something that you have to protect. It's a very difficult situation. I stand with Israel, and I hope someone can sit with me. Like I went to the city of Miami for the board meeting about the ICE, and there was people with Palestinian scars. There was people with shirts saying socialism is not a crime. But for me, it is a crime, because my grandfather was imprisoned in Cuba for many years to try to speak his, what his concerns, and they almost tried to kill him. My grandma was missing for years because she was speaking up because my dad had no food. So those are things that are very touching, and
yeah, it is. It's difficult. I mean, it's one of the biggest problems that I have had and faced, is because I do push back on that, on the more progressive, and simply because it is part of our upbringing, right? And there's just. And I also think there's so many other bigger things that we need to worry about.
Yeah.
And
have to fix the airport.
I want to be able to, afford groceries. I want to be able to afford a home. I want to be able. So we need to start looking at those things, and instead of, we focus so much on the other, and then us in the middle are kind of like, oh, hey, what about us?
Right.
Or why am I so bad? Or why am I? And that's what most of America feels like. Somebody said the other day to me that most people feel politically homeless, and they do. Trump is a little, crazy, and
I'm not gonna say no. I'm not gonna say not. He is. Trump to me will become as a good president. The only thing he needs to be quiet. Like, don't talk no more. Don't talk no more. Take away the phone. I think because he is a business person, and right now, the United States needs someone like him, But I don't like how he talks. I don't like the way he works in Texas sometimes. But I do feel inside of me that he will be known as one of the great presidents. To me, my favorite president is always going to be Ronald Reagan. There's no one going to be top down. Yeah. That to me is like the top, and there's no one, to me, no one's going to be that.
What about Obama?
Next question, please.
Bill Clinton.
He was having so much fun in that White House. Obama knows how to talk, but I feel in the medical field, he destroyed it with Obamacare. I think he didn't do a great job, but también he didn't have a candidate to go with him either. I didn't think, what was the one who was running with him? Ni me acuerdo. Pero
Joe Biden?
No, it wasn't Joe Biden. I was in line forever with Obama. I voted against Obama. But también I knew Obama was going to win, because Obama knows how to talk, But that también, when all that talking, it reminds me of someone in Cuba that will talk forever. So I didn't vote for Obama.
I think with Trump, right? And I do agree with you that shaming is not going to work ever. I do think though that Trump is volatile. He makes decisions not as a president but as a person, and so he se sobrepasa what the law allows, and that's scary, because when you're reactionary, you shouldn't be in office. That's where my biggest fear is what happens when it's, what if I decide that I want to do another recall, and it happens to be somebody that he supports. Am I going to be detained because I'm not able to exercise that right? And that's what scares me, is if you don't follow the process and you don't follow the law, then you can break it for just about anything, right? So that is my biggest concern, is that once you break it for one thing, then it's all fair game.
But it's in general too. It's to me, those things, those little tiny things, is in general, because like yesterday, I saw the director of the election, Alina Garcia, and I confronted her and saying, how can a candidate, run for something in Hialeah when his address is in Coral Gables? So those little things is if you let that happen, then everybody's gonna do it.
Right.
So those things, I understand what you're saying. I do understand, but to me, there was no other option.
And that's how that's what I'm getting from people,
right,
is that they felt, even Democratic Hispanics, really, they felt like they had no other option. And that's something that, look, instead of shaming people, I think that's where you start to look within the party and even the Republican Party to say, what are we doing wrong that we're not looking at putting out candidates that people feel connected to?
Correct. Correct.
You don't have politics and voting for president should not be like, oh yeah, the lesser of two evils, or like that shouldn't be that. It should be two amazing people who differ on policy and which one you feel is the best, right? I love the times, I wish we were back in the times where people were arguing about the embargo. We don't even argue about that anymore. Right. Like it is about everything else but what actually.
What do you think, before we close now, what do you think about the candidate in New York?
I don't know if he's the right person, but like I said,
if he wins, it's going to open a lot of doors.
And for young people who are running.
I don't think in a good way.
I think it's a rejection of the establishment.
Of his background. But we can't judge someone from his background, Right. But there is a lot of videos, a lot of stuff coming out that does make me concerned. Is now New York going to become the next Israel? They're all going to start becoming Muslims. Nothing against Muslims, but I don't believe in that religion because of the way that they treat women.
I take issue with the word socialist, so that already puts me on edge, and I know that's going to upset a lot of people.
But is that the word socialist for us, that we're Latin and we went through that? It's a strong word.
I saw my mom. I held her when she passed away, and to her last day, it was always, I wish I would have never left my country, but I left because of this. And I remember her telling me when she met my dad in Venezuela, that they used to laugh at the immigrants, at the people from her country and all this, and what they went through. And then they had to leave. Imagine having to leave your country and then you leave again because that country is getting, bad. El socialismo, it is something that and honestly, not something that we can afford right now, but it is very deep-rooted, and it is not, and I don't think that anybody really understands what true socialism is, right? And has there ever been a socialist regime that has functioned in a positive way?
Right.
To my knowledge, there isn't.
Right.
So I think in New York, the activist in me is super happy about New York because reject the establishment, reject the everyday status quo politicians. The Democrat in me feels like, is this the path that the party needs to go down? I don't know. I don't know that it is.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming. We finally did our debate, and I think we did a great job.
I cannot wait for the hate comments.
I know.
I can't.
That's happening in your area. Get to know, learn, and experience your county. From the local to the federal level. Cream, the voice of Miami-Dade. Your podcast you can't miss. Press play. Stress plevies. Small businesses, owners, action. What affects your environment and your heart. Art, culture, and much more. Cream keeps you connected. Yeah.